The rain of abundance. There is a shift in the atmosphere. Oh my, every dry bones are rising up again. Every dry bone is rising up again. Do you hear what I hear? A very good afternoon, our viewer. Welcome you to our segment this afternoon, whereby we talk all about marriage life. You know, we are living in such times when families are in crisis, wrangles everywhere. But can that change? Can that have a different view? We have a very great couple, a couple that I truly respect, a couple that is from a family of servants of God, a couple that has walked such a wonderful journey of 12 good years. And as we take a start, I really welcome you so that we may walk this journey together with them as they tell us how it has been, how hard it has been, how easy it has been, or probably they could be having other issues that they would like to share with us. Karibuni sana, Reverend and Mrs. John.
Thank you.
I really welcome you to our studios this afternoon.
Yes.
And as we start, I will kindly request you to make a brief introduction so that our viewer may even know who you are.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my name is Reverend John Maina. I thank God for His grace. And I'm married for the last 12 years. And I thank God for what He's doing in our lives.
Amen.
Thank you.
God bless you. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Thank you so much. Mom,
Yes,
feel free and welcome to our studios.
thank you.
Kindly tell us who you are, maybe.
Hello, our viewers. My names are Sarah John. I'm Mrs. John. I'm married for the last 12 years. Karibu.
Thank you very much, our viewer. This segment, we call it the marriage journey. And we want to learn more about the marriage journey and maybe probably encourage someone who is saying that marriage is not working nowadays. Now, for example, you know, we are living very hard times of COVID-19.
Yeah.
And we have had family crisis, wrangles here and there, family breakups. You know, we hear a husband has slaughtered or slit the throat of the wife.
Yeah.
Is marriage still working nowadays, Pastor?
Yeah, I may begin actually where you've just set off. We are in days that are not very ordinary in terms of the COVID. COVID has brought a lot of challenges. And they're not really challenges, but have changed the way things are done. For example, where you have to stay in the house for a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, two, together. And you know, mostly people are used to, you wake up in the morning, go to work, you come back in the evening, so you spend a little time. So, and that has caused a lot of challenges. But I want to say that marriage works. Actually, this is the best time that marriage can get sweeter and better because you are together, you are disagreeing to agree, you are seeing those things that you never used to see, and you can now start planning, you know, or working on them in you and for the both of you.
Sure.
So marriage works.
Oh, that's an awesome one. Marriage work. Mom, how easy is this marriage works?
It is easy for a marriage to work when people are committed to it, because marriage is all about commitment. If you are committed to, because it is not one man show, it is only both of you are supposed to participate for it to work. So me would say it can work easily when the spouses are committed to make it work.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thank God that it is all about being, you know, working as a team,
Yes.
not kuenda moja moja.
Yes.
Oh, bless the Lord.
Yeah.
For now, I understand you have lived for 12 good years in marriage. I want us to know, probably, when did you meet?
That's a good one. No. We met about 18 years ago, if I'm right. This was about around 2005. Personally, I was trusting God to get someone to marry. And of course, we are talking with my peers and we are praying, and everyone has their suggestions. But I remember this one time I felt, God, you must answer this prayer now. So I made a crazy prayer, because I remember I went to a prayer mountain, and these are the words that I remember I prayed. God, wherever my wife is, even if she's in Australia, you know how to get her. You know she's the bone of these bones. Yeah. And around that time, we were sent by our pastor on evangelism assignment in Kirinyaga. And when the host pastor received us, the first person I saw was this girl. I still remember that picture. You know, Mslenda, your figure 8, okay. You know.
I get it.
I remember she was wearing a red top. And I don't know why my eyes caught her attention. And then it so happens that it is in their place that we were to spend. And she was actually the one assigned to take care of us. We were about three brothers. So she was the one making sure we are taking breakfast and such things. And so at that time now I got to know her. She was leaving the hand now who was hosting us. And around that time, she also happened to be my translator. You know, this journey is amazing. Okay. So, and in this one crusade, I'm preaching, she's my translator, and then it starts to rain. And it rains heavily. Okay, no, kama kijana, kwangu mvua kwanza ikianza kunyesha, unasikia hadi unataka kuchapa sana. Yes. So, and then I realized my translator is still with me on the dais, and she's not afraid of her hair, and she's okay with it. And I can tell you, by the time I was finishing that crusade, I was like, God, I think you're answering my prayer. Oh my.
Now, Mom, in the mission, we are there and the preacher is preaching, you're interpreting. Yes. And here comes the rain. Mm-hmm. Didn't that, send signals, or what happened that you finally ended up, when he approached you, you could have remembered, this man, and he's the one who's been making me get rained on. How comes you fell in love with this man of God?
I don't know, maybe I would say it was love at first sight. Because when I saw him, I also felt like I'm attracted to him. And God worked in a divine way, because I was also praying for a partner. And because of the love that I have for God, probably that is why I didn't walk out of the dais. I remained there, interpreted for him. And then I could also feel I don't want to let him down, because he's a guest preacher. Mm-hmm.
And so now, when did this question come?
Of getting married?
Yes, of him, nowadays, we normally approach a lady and you're like, will you marry me? Or now, those days, there was nothing of the sort.
It took like 2 years because he came and then he left. We didn't meet for like 2 years because I was staying in my aunt's place. Right. That is why I had gone in a certain hospital there for an internship. Then after 2 years, I came back home. Actually, I didn't know that we are from the same place.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. I thank God. I thank God. It's such a good start. Yes. And, we get out to the point that he has approached you, you have said yes, and you've gone to other levels of even having a wedding. In the first place, did you have a church wedding? Or what happened?
Yes, we did a church wedding. Yes. And if I could pick from where she left. So after the crusade, I actually didn't tell her anything during the crusade. Right. So we go back home, and I remember this time I got to one of the towns around our place called Kangare, and I met this girl, and I'm like, where have I seen you? Then she reminds me of the mission, and then I was, oh yeah, I now remember. So I told her, you can come visiting us in our church one of these Sundays. I think she was waiting for that. She came the following Sunday, she came.
That was the trap.
I get it.
She came, the following Sunday she came. And then God also worked in a different way. She was posted, or she got a job in a hospital near our place. So now it was even easier. So this time I tell her, now that you're working here, this is the church, so you better be coming to our church.
Oh, God.
And then the question comes, and well, like normally any lady would do, I was given a few, like 2 months of probation. They would look like 2 years anyway. She told me she's praying, but I knew she was already thanking God. Now, but then from there, of course, we did a church wedding, and we thank God. We appreciate that God brought servants of God our way. Thank God for Reverend Zakayo, Mugane, and Bishop Gilbert. They really helped us walk that journey, and up to now, the point of getting married. Yeah, and actually we got married on 16th of August. That was 2008, which also happens to be my birthday.
Oh.
So
So we are celebrating your birthday.
yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I bless the Lord. Now, Mom,
Yes.
the question has come and now you're married.
Yes.
Kindly, someone at home would be wondering, how is it like, for two grown-ups now coming together, being in one basket, starting a life together? How hard or how easy is that?
Okay, I would say in the first place it is a bit hard because now you are here, you've met, you are not staying together. You are living in the same house every day, and sometimes now you start discovering who this person is. So when you are not living together, you can't really know who this person is because you've never seen him angry. You don't know whether he gets angry because he is always happy to see you.
Yes.
But now, when you start living together, you start discovering that he has weaknesses. He also starts discovering that you also have weaknesses. So sometimes I would say it becomes a bit hard, but as time goes by, you go adapting.
Young people are like, what is the need of a church wedding? Why should I waste all those resources?
Yes.
Why did you go the wedding way? And what advice would you give to such a person?
Personally, I'm so concerned about the foundation and how you start a thing. Because I think they also say in my language, as in that force by which you start is what will sustain you. So, and I was looking at, I don't want to just get married. I want to get married God's way. Because remember, even as we build marriage, we build it God's way. And of course, doing a church wedding brings God into the picture. Because it carries a number of things.
Okay.
One, it carries responsibility. I don't think there's any church where you go and do a wedding and you have not gone to the parents of, to your partner's parents to say that you are marrying this girl.
Yes.
So that already creates a sense of responsibility. It is known from the beginning that this girl is getting married to John.
Sure.
So, and the other thing, the responsibility also to the church. This church have raised you. And may I say, it's not even about the expenses. If I tell you how much we spend in our wedding, you laugh. I think we spent 55 something. It was not even 60,000. That's how expensive our wedding was. The bridal car was a very powerful machine called Vitz. So, and I was actually given by a pastor friend of mine.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be expensive. But what I was looking for that blessing at the altar of God. I have grown in church. I know God is the author of marriage. I want him to be part of it. I want him to take every part of my wedding. And now that foundation is what we are continuing to build upon even now.
Oh my. Things are getting sweet and sweet in this platform.
Yes.
Our fellow viewer, remember to keep it KAG Emmanuel Matangi.
Yes.
Keep it here. This is our forum where we talk about the marriage journey.
Yes.
The journey that at times becomes so hard, at times becomes so easy, at times, people have different opinions.
Yes.
And today in studio, Just a reminder is that we have Reverend and Mrs. John M. And moving on, in family, when you came together, you know, in our native language, we say, "Madhanwa makiri kyodo kemweri, matiga gukongorania." Probably, Mrs. Pastor,
Yes.
which low moment can you remember that you have had in your 12-year marriage, and even the higher one? Can discuss on the two.
The lower and the higher. So my lowest moment in my marriage is when I lost my firstborn. When I got married in 08, then 09, July 13th, we were blessed with a baby girl, and she stayed for 3 days, then she passed away. That was my lowest moment, because I was just wondering, how can it happen? I really asked God so many questions. So we were down, because you know, at that time when you go through such a thing, people always have so many things to talk about. And actually, many people will even leave you. So it is like you are suffering alone. And here we are the ministers, we were the pastors. So everybody wants us to encourage ourselves, and everybody wants us to remain strong. And because we had to remain strong for them, actually we could cry at night. Personally, I could really cry at night. But during the day when we come to the church, I'm smiling. It is like everything is normal. And so that was my lowest moment, when nobody was really understanding what I was going through.
Oh my.
But I thank God for Reverend Zakayo Mugano and his wife, because they really stood with us, they prayed for us, they visited us so many times to encourage us. So that was my lowest moment.
There are so many people who probably have lost their babies. How did you move on, and what advice and encouragement would you have?
What made me move on is because there are people who are praying for us, and Pastor and his wife were really encouraging us. And there is still another couple called the Erastas who had gone through the same thing. So they were telling us that, gee, this is just a passing cloud, you know, you will overcome. But I almost got into depression, because I went through cesarean section, and then the wound could not heal. And we were like, God, what is happening? Only to discover later that they left something, you know, they left a bandage, and that is why the wound could not heal. So after like, the wound healed after, I think, 6 months, because I had to go to Outspan Hospital in Nyeri, where I had to go for another minor surgery. So the wound took time to heal. So for me to overcome, I had to see a psychologist, that is one, who took me through the journey. And I had to forgive everybody who was involved, especially the nurses, because mine was due to negligence. So I was taken through the journey by a psychologist. Then my husband really stood with me. He's my number one encourager, because he really encouraged me at that time. And then we really prayed, and we trusted God. Amen. So I would tell someone who has lost the baby, you know, healing cannot happen. It is something which cannot happen. It cannot happen like it is in a day. It takes time. Healing is a journey. So maybe you can see a counselor and continue praying and trusting God and listening to those people who are encouraging you, and without paying a lot of attention to those people who are talking negative things about the situation, because they will always be there. But there is still hope, because God made us to start again.
Amen.
And actually, we are blessed with 3 children.
Oh, yes.
So we really thank God for His grace.
I thank God. Wow. Actually, I was coming to that now, because you lost the child. There are children, and yes, she said that now you are blessed with some other 3, which I believe they are a blessing to you.
Yes.
Now, Dad, how is it like, you know, she has come, she has now, you know, you have been blessed with children. How have you been living, now with the blessing of the children, I believe they are blessings.
Yeah, of course, children are a blessing. But normally, they also can bring a challenge on a relationship as a couple. Especially for us men, it's like we feel the attention is going too much to the kids. And that also happened to us in the beginning. But then we got to a level of where we can now sit down, discuss, and look at our relationship and ask ourselves, could God really have blessed us with children to separate us? And we realized no, they are supposed to help us grow and become better in our relationship. So, and from that time we were able to know there is time and space for children and time and space for each other. And it's not, again, very easy, especially for a mother, because all of those responsibilities are on her shoulders. But I thank God for my wife. She has really been able to adjust. And we still have time for each other.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we still have time for each
And
other.
now that you have time for each other, with all the things of the house, these are the things the man should handle.
Yes.
These are the things that the wife should handle.
Yes.
At times you see as if the attention is now to the kids.
Yes.
Let me ask this tricky question.
Yes.
But it's very vital. Do you remember any one time that you were mad at your spouse?
Oh.
And what scenario was that? And how probably did you solve that?
Yeah, I think I remember one. We were still young in marriage.
Okay.
And I'm not remembering the exact details of what we were talking about, but we got into an argument. And then I felt like she's not understanding me. And, this time I think I got very angry. I didn't hit her. I had just bought, these smartphones had just come. So what I did, I crashed it.
Oh, my God.
And then after that, I realized, oh, my, what have I done? And so how we did come out of it is, after that, I asked myself, is this really the kind of a marriage I want? So, and from that time, we decided anytime we have an issue, when emotions are high, we don't talk about it. We let emotions cool down because we don't want a repetition of that. And after that, then we can sit down. Because even after that, even after crashing the phone, you see, even after doing all those crazy things, the final answer is in you sitting down, talking the issue through. So, and now for it to get resolved, the tensions and everything, the tempers have to go low.
Sure.
So the better. So you let things cool down and you sit down, and that has now become what we do every time. Because we don't want to say that ours is a very perfect marriage. It's not perfect. There are issues, but we have decided to resolve them as they come.
Yes.
Yes.
So your advice to the viewer is that don't act when emotions are high.
Yes.
Probably that could be the same view. I don't know. What has been, was there, that's the same low moment or bad, time with your husband?
Yeah, that one. Actually, I was really shocked when he crashed the phone. And because I can remember I had just asked him a certain question. And then I sat down and I asked myself, maybe I framed the question the wrong way or what was that? And then I was like, how can you crash a new phone?
A smartphone.
A new smartphone. But what he has said, that is what we did.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I thank God. So never act when emotions are very high.
Yes.
Never act. Just take time, relax, and when things are cool, Now, getting to another point is that could you probably try to bring it or bring us into a picture of the difference between, the earlier marriages and today's marriages in regard to your marriage?
Ours may be also very modern, but looking back,
yes,
you see, those days marriage was it was like a communal thing. So there was a lot of parents coming in. There was a lot of even a lot of church influence on the marriage. And but now we are in days when young people tell you usikuja sana, almost telling you mind your own business. However, there is no much difference in terms of principle.
Yes.
Because it's the same principle, whether it was the cultural or what now we are doing, the modern marriage, it's about the principles. And those principles are the biblical principles. Because what sustains marriage, I will say this, and I know many things that it is love that sustains marriage, but I will say it's not love. It's the commitment to the love.
Yes.
You see, the commitment to love, that decision that I make every day, that even after 12 years, even after how many years, I will still continue with my wife. And no matter the challenge, no matter the temptation, that commitment, whether in the olden days or in the modern days, is what makes marriage work and stand.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. Is there that one thing that probably you'd rather not discuss, but swallow it because maybe if you bring it up, he'll not buy the idea, he'll not be for it, or how do you play around with such?
Okay, as for us, we can discuss any issue
Wow, nice.
without any problem. Yeah, we can discuss any issue without any problem. Yeah.
So what's your advice to the family that is watching you? Is it good to be open or
Yeah.
hypocrisy? No, hypocrisy is what is killing marriages. Probably what could you advise them on being open?
I would advise them to be honest and to be open.
Yes.
Because right nowadays, what is killing so many marriages is the issues of the phone. And you know, when they are there, where there is no trust, a marriage cannot trust. So be open to your partner. Don't hide anything to him or her.
Yes.
Even if anybody, you know, sometimes, I don't know whether to say this generation or, sometimes somebody can admire you and maybe come and tell you, you know, you look good, what. You should get into a point where you can also discuss that with your partner. Because if you tell your wife or your husband such a thing, I want to believe he can trust you the more.
Yes.
And when he trusts you, that marriage, I tell you, it can't break.
Can't break.
So just be open and honest to your partner.
Yes.
Don't hide things.
Sure.
Because the moment they will discover you've been hiding things from them, then they will ask themselves, if I discover something today, then I'll sit down and start thinking about how many things have you hidden from me.
Yeah.
So you know that one will start killing our marriage slowly.
Yes.
So the best advice, be honest, be open,
Yes.
and trust each other.
Yes, Reverend, I can see you have something.
Yeah, I want to add and say,
Yes.
it's not that we started at that point.
Okay.
There was a time when also there are issues that would not really want to get into. Maybe giving an example, there are times when we could not even talk about finances because once you touch that line,
Yes.
it's really going to get hot.
Yes, there will be sparks.
There will be sparks. But over time, we have grown over that,
Okay.
that we can talk about anything. In fact, I was remembering, this morning I remembered something my boss was telling me the other day. You know, someone meets her and then he tells her, na uko smart sana hata kama hunisalimi. And then she's like, okay, I don't, and the guy says it again and again, and then she shares that with me. And then we just laugh. Because it's no longer an issue.
Yeah, it's not an issue.
So I think as people continue to grow in marriage, we need to understand that these things will keep on coming. And they will not be solved by other people outside your marriage. It's you to know how to handle them.
Yes.
Because if somebody, you know, teases your wife, so do you take it, you know, like, I think wewe hata ulikuwa unataka ku, you know, or do you take it like, okay, I think that's a normal thing that happens in life, and let's talk, let's discuss, let's continue with our marriage journey.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, as we come probably to a conclusion, but
Yes.
not really to a conclusion.
Yes.
In every course
Yes.
of life,
Yes.
and in everything that people are doing,
Yes.
there are mistakes they do.
Yes.
And, you know, like for example, in an exam,
Yes.
if you fail, we are given a retake.
Yes.
Let's assume you're given a chance for the 12 years that you've been married,
Yes.
to redo something that you wish that you would redo, what would you redo?
Wow, that's a good one. I think one thing would do better
Yes.
is in the early years of our marriage, we really listened to people's opinions. And we really allowed people to control the way we live and go about things, and either directly, because people are talking to us and telling you, maybe you could have done this as a couple, maybe you could have gone to this other place. I remember, like, even that time when we lost our child, we had a specific hospital we wanted to go to. Then people are telling us, no, that's not a good one, go to this one, go, until we were confused. And I think one of the things would really change if we were to do a retake is would build our marriage how we believe it will work from the beginning, without, okay, people's advices are good.
Yes.
I say they are good, but it is not every advice that works for you.
Oh, yes.
They say you don't build like your friend.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That's a very, very powerful point.
Yes.
People's advices are good,
Yes.
but not every advice is good.
Yes.
So it's for you to sieve.
You have to, because remember, you're also dealing with a different person.
Sure.
They could be dealing with their wife or their husband who is difficult in some way. Yours may not be difficult in that way.
Yes.
So you really have, after, it's like school. You go to school, you learn how to drive, you do all that. But when you sit on the driver's seat on the highway alone, that is when your driving skills become personalized. Sure. Now it's no longer the teacher telling you brake. It's you now to know it's time to brake.
It's you alone.
It's you alone. Yeah. So the same thing also marriage. People will tell you a lot of things, but remember, when you go back home, it's you now applying what you've learned. Apply it wisely. Yes.
Wow, Mrs. Pastor, how does it work, or how do you play around with being a wife, being a mother, and on the other hand, being a mom to the church?
It is not easy, but it is just a matter of priorities.
Okay,
So to me, God comes first, then my family,
all right.
and then ministry. So I have to create time for God, create time for my family, because for real I treasure my family,
All right.
and then create time for the church. And that is what has really helped me.
Yes, and that brings balance
Yeah.
and makes your marriage still continue working.
Yes.
Maybe probably as we come to a conclusion, what advice would you have to mothers out there who are married and someone could be on the verge of giving up, it has been having problems in there. What could you advise such a wife?
So I would tell you, don't give up,
Yes.
because I believe all marriages can work with good communication and without focusing so much on your partner's weaknesses. Because most of the times that is what really happens, that sometimes we focus so much on the weaknesses of our partners, and we forget that we also have weaknesses.
Yes.
So don't give up. Focus your eyes onto Jesus, because your marriage can still work.
Yes.
It is not yet over.
Oh, yes.
There is still hope. So continue praying for your husband, and you can still do this. Maybe you can sit down and look at yourself and write all the good things that you think, all things that you think you are doing the right way.
Yes.
Then look at your spouse, and maybe you can also sit down and write all the weaknesses that you think they have. Kama zake zitakuwa nyingi kuliko zako na kama zako na zake zitakuwa uangalie, kwa sababu you might be thinking he's the problem.
Right.
Alafu upate ya kwamba you also have your own issues. So your marriage can still work.
Yes.
Work hard. Marriage is all about working hard.
Now, Reverend,
Yes.
as we come to a closure of this,
Yes.
how have the roles of husbands changed nowadays? And what advice, as we conclude,
Yes.
would you have to that husband who is on the verge of giving up?
I want to say, right now where we are, it's no longer like the olden days where the husband was the sole breadwinner. Also, the wives are also working and earning. And I think the men of our day need to accept that. And because that money that comes through your wife is also money for the family. And what I would think is most important for us to do now, as the husband, we must play our role very right in terms of guiding our families in the ways of God. Remember, God called Abraham in Genesis chapter number 18, and the first thing he tells him, I think verse number 18 and 19, I've chosen him to guide his household in the ways of the Lord.
Yes.
And maybe the other thing is, it's also good to have some funny moments. Have some fun. You can have fun in God.
Yes.
Like there is this time I remember we're in the service, and my wife invites me to come up and preach. She didn't know what I've planned for her.
Yes.
So, and I come over, of course I greet the church, I tell the church to, to clap for her, then I had a poem.
All right.
And, I just like that. And I could look at my wife and I could see how she was, feeling good and enjoying the moment.
Yes.
So, marriage is not boredom. You can have fun. And the other thing maybe I would say is, please, men, let's admire women.
Oh, yes.
Let's enjoy company with them. Your wife may not be up to what you want her to be, but please raise her up. And maybe something I need to mention, don't tell your wife she's growing old.
Oh, my.
No. even if she's 50 or 40 or whatever age,
Yes.
please keep calling her your girl. Make sure that you bring out that young girl in her.
Oh, yeah.
When she cooks, at least say thank you. Say the food is nice. If she dresses smartly, and I think it's also our responsibility to dress them, please tell her she's smart. Because if you don't, someone else will.
Yeah, someone else will.
So you better keep telling them they are smart, they are looking good, they are looking younger. And also, and most importantly, I think, what I've heard many women tell me in many marriage seminars is time. And that is not them. Even my wife.
Yes.
She has told me many times, I think you are now not giving me enough time. And I think women want time. They want you to sit down with them, just listen to whatever they are telling you. Those stories, I went to this place, I saw this, I heard this. You may not really be wanting to listen, but listen. Because that's why you married her, that she can have you, and having you is having that time with you.
Wow. It has been such a pleasure.
Yes.
Having you talk about your lives,
Thank you.
how marriage has been, and still encouraging us that marriage still works.
Yes.
And marriage is still working.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
We are left without words.
Thank you.
All we wish you is that may you have many more years,
Amen.
in marriage, full of fun, full of love, and full of God's blessings.
Yes.
So our lovely viewer, that brings us to the end of our segment, The Journey of Marriage. May God bless you. Up until next time, keep it KAG, Emmanuel Matangi. God bless you.
Amen.